Hey guys, welcome back or welcome in if you're new. Today is another speed reviews video. I've got 33 products that I want to go over with you guys. It was a bit of a marathon. I just finished doing all the cutaways of me applying everything to my face, taking off the foundation, putting it back on, that sort of stuff. Most of this stuff is new releases and some of it was just stuff that I wanted to get for myself that I think looked good as I was kind of like window shopping, or I went to a specific site to pick up something for myself, like a repurchase, and I was like, hey, let me try this. Anyway, I'm really excited to get into talking about these products with you guys, so let's get into it. All right, let's start off with a new release. I picked up these. I picked up two shades of these too. These are the glazed liquid eyeshadows from Urban Decay. I picked up the famous Space Cowboy shade, which I think they actually call Space Cowboy Intense, and then Sugar Twist. These are the kinds, if you guys watched my video trying these on, that you need to shake in order to get the product to move around but also touch the brush. These are really unique in terms of packaging, that they have like a little brush tip on them that are like hairs essentially. I was initially concerned because I didn't realize that you had to shake this product to get it to reach the brush tip, but you do. Otherwise, it's not going to touch but like the very tip of the brush. And even when you do shake it, like sometimes you're not picking up that much product. As you can see, it's only kind of touching the tip of the brush. Anyway, these are $26. I was not overly impressed with these. I think when you initially put them on, they do show up different colors. The Sugar Twist shade is a little bit more pink, and then Space Cowboy has that kind of like orangey taupey base, but as they dry, you literally cannot tell the difference. It's almost like the base disappears, at least for me, and then you're left with mostly sparkle. So I would say if you get shades that are similar like these two, it's not worth it to spend $26 to get two shades. Also, I'm not overly impressed with the formula either. It tends to fade really fast, even on my set eyes. I don't think it transfers or gets crunchy, it just fades. I put these on a while ago as I was doing the cutaways, and I feel like they were definitely more intense when I started, and then what I'm left with is basically just a little bit of sparkle. Again, I'm not overly impressed with this particular formula. I think the packaging overall is pretty cute. I do like the way that they apply. I think they go on super easily. You don't need a brush, you don't need to rub them out with a finger. I do know that if you like don't screw these caps on super well, that those brushes tend to get crunchy. Like the formula dries down. When I was messing around with the testers in the store, the brushes were stiff as can be. Mine are still pliable and movable, and they haven't frayed or anything yet, but they were really gross in the testers in store. So I don't know how they're gonna perform after, I don't know, 20 uses or something like that. Just overall, I wasn't impressed with the $26 formula for something that just fades so quickly. And again, shades that could be perceived as somewhat different, one more pinky, and then Space Cowboy, which is a little bit more orange, and they just come out basically sparkles at the end. So I don't know, I like them. I wouldn't declutter them, but I definitely wouldn't go back and repurchase another shade. And if you guys were thinking about it, what you get on the eyes here is pretty much, this is it. This is as intense as you can build these up. So if that's something you like, then I think they're decent. I'm just not overly impressed with the formula. Just wasn't shocked and wowed like I thought it was going to be. Oh, and by the way, if you guys hear background noise, it's hot upstairs. I don't think our AC is like, I don't know, this is an older house, and I just don't feel like they've done the duct work properly for the upstairs. Anyway, just in case you guys were wondering, those who have heard me say like it gets hot upstairs, that's why. All right, the next ones up are not new releases. They're from Rabanne. I had Rabanne on my list of brands to try. I think a lot of the stuff really looks good, a lot of the lip products. This particular one here is a mini of the Color Shots, the cream to paint metallic liquid eyeshadow, and this one's in the shade Cosmic Rave. This and a little mini of the mascara they had on display in Ulta, so I was like, okay, let me get this. These are really good. This is a gold shade, so it's not necessarily what I would have picked for myself, but I wanted to try it, and I also wanted to try the mascara as well, so I thought, okay, I think this was $20 for this mini with the Color Shot and the mascara, so I said, what the hey. I actually don't mind this color. I don't think it's too intensely gold. I have worn it all by itself, and I think it looks really good. This is an extremely easy formula to work with. It's exactly what I was hoping that it would be. I apply it with my finger, I blend it out. It dries down in the perfect amount of time. You can move it around and put it where you want it, and then once you're done, then it finally dries down. It's a really smooth formula, so it doesn't add any texture to your lids or anything like that, and it stays pretty much all day. It's a really easy, kind of foolproof formula to work with. I like the way that it performs. I like the way that it looks. It's got that metallic finish without being sparkly, so I really enjoy this. I definitely would think about getting other shades. I don't need to add to my singles collection, but I'm definitely glad that I got to try Rabanne, and I did enjoy that particular formula. All right, let's move on to the 4 different mascaras. These 3 right here are new releases, and then the Rabanne is not. The Rabanne is the least exciting of the 4. This is the famous mascara, and it comes in the shade Deep Black. This is an hourglass shaped wand. The bristles are like natural hair bristle style. It's kind of a drier formula. It is not intensely pigmented. It separates the lashes really, really nicely, and it's a very lightweight formula. It's just very lengthening. I think this mascara is intended to be both volumizing and lengthening, and kind of claims to be ultra pigmented, but it isn't. And because it's a drier formula, I don't know, it kind of like slips through the lashes. It doesn't grip, meaning it doesn't turn up the pigment really well. It separates them nicely and doesn't clump them. It's just not my personal favorite kind of mascara. I want something much more pigmented, and I want something much more volumizing because my lashes are so thin, and I think it's like super obvious, especially when I use like a really, really lightly pigmented mascara. So this is the least exciting. I don't enjoy this, and I don't want to hold on to it, honestly. All right, this one from Too Faced is the Ribbon Wrapped Lash. This is a tubing mascara, and it's meant to be lengthening. This is really nice. I do like the wand on this too, because it's the molded plastic bristled wands, which is my personal favorite. This does give a beautiful fanned out effect, but it lengthens like crazy. It's like immediately noticeable that it's wrapping my lashes and giving them length. I think it's nicely pigmented, not in the way that a volumizing mascara is, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. My first time trying a Too Faced mascara. It fans them out. It's not clumpy. It gives way better pigment than the Rabanne mascara for something that's also kind of fluttery, and it comes off super easily. It doesn't flake, doesn't smudge. This is a good one. I really enjoy that. If you guys like a lengthening tubing mascara, I actually enjoy this better than the next one I'm going to talk about. This one is the new mascara, the Baddie Lash, I think is how it's pronounced, from Colfi. It could be Body, B-A-D-I. This is also a tubing mascara. It is a very, very similar wand to the Too Faced. It's the molded plastic bristles, and they're very short. Both of these you can get quite close to the lash line, and they don't hurt because they are very soft molded bristled wands. So I like that. But this is supposed to be, unlike the Too Faced, a volumizing and lengthening tubing mascara. I think that it's pretty good. It's a pretty thin formula, but it's not buildable. The Too Faced is much more buildable. This one tends to dry pretty quickly, and so you can get quick length out of it, but then you're not getting that volume that it says that it's supposed to do. It's not quite as tubing as the Too Faced, which you can immediately see like wrapping my lashes and giving me length. I think this one is just maybe more pigmented, and so it looks like it's giving more length when really I think it's just kind of enhancing what I currently have. It doesn't come off as easily as the Too Faced one. I would say that it's not quite as tubing. Some tubing mascaras are much more tubing, and they come off in like flakes, where I don't notice that with this one. I think it's good, but I've seen reviews on this that say it's even better than I personally feel about it. This one I tend to make a little bit of a mess with, I think because it starts out kind of a wetter formula, but again, it definitely dries really quickly, and so I can't build up too much with this. So I like it, I don't love it. One that I do really enjoy, and I'm actually quite surprised, but when a new release comes out and it says volumizing mascara, I'm sold. I'm a sucker. I want to try it because I want to find the best mascara ever, even though I have some really good ones. This one is the Makeup by Mario Master Mascara. This one's different. It's the softer bristles. It's not like the molded plastic wand. This is a middle of the road formulation and weight mascara. It's definitely the heaviest of the 4 that I've just talked about, but it's a little bit more tacky, and so it definitely grips to the lashes a little bit better. It is a volumizing mascara at its core. It does provide good volume, but it does get a little bit chunky. That's something I personally either don't mind or kind of enjoy when it comes to a volumizing mascara, because it has to add texture to my lashes or it just doesn't make them look thicker, and I'm always fighting them looking sparse and thin. So I really enjoyed this. It doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge. I think it's a really good one. It's my favorite of the 4. Just personally, that's what I like. It's again the heaviest weight, so it doesn't offer the best curl of all of them, where I'd say that the other three definitely give a lifted, more curled effect than this one does. All right, two interesting and not new releases. I sought this next one out. This is from Kevyn Aucoin. This is the Precision Eye Definer. I think it's in the shade Whole. I sought this out specifically because it's teeny, teeny, tiny. I like it for wings, but I got it specifically because it has the smudger and a very fine brush tip on the other end. And kohl liners are fabulous. They're generally super duper creamy for about, I don't know, 10 seconds. You can smoke them out and then they usually lock down. That's exactly what this one does. You know, Kevyn Aucoin had amazing makeup products. He was a really good makeup artist in the 80s, especially. Did a lot of like celebrity, worked with a lot of models. Like, I think his brand, you know, even though he's no longer with us, is quite underrated. Like, everything that I have from Kevyn Aucoin is just really good. There was maybe like a lip gloss once that was just like kind of underwhelming. But anyway, I specifically wanted the brush smudger. Now, can I get this from another tool that I might have here? Absolutely. But I like that it's all in one, and I like that this one is super duper thin. Again, when this dries down, no smudge. 100% this lasts all day. This is a great little product. I think it cost me like 22 bucks, but I went to the Kevyn Aucoin website and picked this up specifically. I sought this out. I knew that this brand made this and I wanted one. There are other brands that do it. I just know that Kevyn Aucoin is a good one. This is something I picked up from Beauty Bay. This is a water activated liner. It's called the B Liner Palette, the Aquavated liner palette. I don't think this like comes in different shades, like color story shades. I think this is just the only one that they have. And I re-upped on my favorite mascara, one of my favorite mascaras, the Beauty Bay High Key Mascara. I needed another one, so I bought two more. Anyway, they're still shipping to the US, by the way. Somebody had told me they weren't doing that, but they totally are. And I picked this up thinking I've always wanted to try water activated liners, and I've just been having fun with colorful liners lately. Oh my gosh, this is so good. It is so good. It is so pigmented. It is so easy to use. It stays all freaking day. It doesn't move around. It doesn't come off if I like accidentally touch it. It locks down. It's super easy to apply. Like, this is a really good water activated liner palette. I will admit though, I've never tried a water activated liner palette before, so I have no context. I have nothing to compare it to. I just know that I love this. I want to say I haven't used the purple and the yellow shades yet, but I've used the pink a bunch, the orange and the white a bunch. I don't know why I haven't used those two shades. The yellow is awfully neon, so, you know, probably not something that I would just wear normally. The purple I could. I don't know why I haven't used it. Anyway, this is fantastic. I have been enjoying this. I have been thinking about this stupid thing and wanting to pull it back out even when it went in my closet, and it was like, all right, it's time for the speed reviews. I kept pulling it back out. So I thoroughly enjoy this. Beauty Bay is pretty mid-range price point, so I was happy to have my hands on this and I really enjoy it. All right, let's get into two new foundations. I have the Lawless Forget the Filler Skin Plumping Line Smoothing Foundation. This is meant to be a full coverage foundation, and I absolutely love this. I don't think it's too full coverage. I think that if you apply this in a light layer, it's more medium buildable coverage. I think this smooths my freaking texture out so freaking much. I love applying this. It applies seamlessly. It just looks immediately more smooth, and maybe that's what they mean by like skin plumping. I think it wears really well. It doesn't start looking cakey or heavy throughout the day. I love the way things look on top of it because my skin is so much more smooth and like there's a lot less texture. Like, everything that goes on top of it just looks like smooth and non-textured. I really enjoy this. I think that it has good lasting power, and that's it. Just a really good product. I thoroughly enjoy it. By the way, if you guys don't know, I have a combo skin type. My T-zone gets pretty darn oily, but I definitely have like drier under eyes, and I tend to get drier right here on my forehead. So, you know, I can't use like a super drying foundation or even like a super dewy one, just because I will sweat that sucker off, especially on my nose. It'll look terrible. So I would say this is really nice. It's kind of like a luminous matte finish, or like a natural finish is kind of what I think of this. So I think it's right in the middle, meaning someone who had dry skin or combo skin could really enjoy this and it could work well for them. All right, I am sad to say I do not enjoy this at all, and I've seen some people like thoroughly enjoying this. It's the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Gel Tint, and I have mine in the shade 3. By the way, in the Lawless, I have mine in the shade 2F, which I think is too fair, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, the Milk Makeup is a gel formulation, so it's heavier. Unlike the Lawless, which is very lightweight, very runny, this has a very sticky, tacky, thicker texture. I think it's okay when you apply it. It gives like a juicy, like healthy glow, but it feels heavy on the skin and it emphasizes every bump, every line, every bit of texture on my face. Now, I can make this work for me if I powder, because if you powder over it with a smoothing powder, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't remain dewy or sticky. But like, why do I need to do that? I have other hydrating formulas that are thinner that give me that, where I don't need to powder over it in order for it to look at least somewhat acceptable. I just don't personally have the smoothest skin ever, so a product like this that adds so much texture is just not for me. I would say that it looks heavier over certain things, or even like over a primer. I wouldn't use those things with this, or I'd come up in like 15 to 20 minutes after I had applied those things before I went in with this. There's no benefit here for me. I don't like the way that it wears around my nose. Just overall no benefit for me. I understand what they were trying to get at, and I like the little bit of dewy finish. It's just like, I can't leave it like that. So again, what's the benefit? All right, another new release here. This one is from Morphe. I guess this one's a little bit older, but I would still consider this like kind of a new release. This is the Wake Up Artist Under Eye Correcting Concealer. I have mine in the shade Ivory 310. I will say this is a fat doe foot applicator, and because this is a more full coverage concealer, I would have liked to have seen them do a smaller doe foot. So what I do with this is I put it on the back of my hand and I pick it up with the brush. If I go straight in, it's way too heavy. It's a hydrating formula, so it's a little bit tacky when it goes on, but it can creep into my fine lines very easily if I go in with too much product, and I can never seem to like get the right amount when I just dot it onto my under eye. So I do pick it up from my hand with a brush. I tend to put this under foundation so that I can blend it in really nicely with a brush. That's how I've been applying it. And I do set my eyes with it because a little bit goes a super long way with this product. I like that it's a very brightening shade. I will say though, when I was in store, I had a hard time finding a shade that really worked for me. Ivory 3N I would say is maybe a little bit lighter than I typically like, especially because I'm not generally into brightening concealers, because I do feel like they emphasize my hollow under eyes. I like something that is actually just my full skin tone. So that's my personal preference, and I couldn't find anything that quite matched me, so I ended up going with this, which I think is a little bit too light. I can make it work, so I'm a little bit indifferent about it. I don't mind it at all. It just has like a special way that I like to apply it. I think though, if you love thinner weight concealers, I would not recommend this to you. All right, let's move on into powders. I have 2 new releases and 1 not new release. I've been actually getting a lot of stuff on Ipsy lately. I've been specifically targeting their sales and finding a bunch of shit that's quite cheap and that I've been thoroughly enjoying, just like products that I know about, and then I've been like, oh, hey, I wanted you. Right there, and it'd be like $2. You know, it's an opportunity for me to test something that I've been wanting to test, and it's on sale. So this is kind of one of them. This is the Pressed Mineral Foundation Powder in L2 from Cover FX. This came out a lot darker than I was hoping for L2, which I think is the second lightest shade. If you know this about me, you guys, I love powder foundations for setting in my T-zone. It's my absolute favorite. I find that they lock down my makeup so much better, like in this Florida freaking humidity. So it's just my personal preference. But the thing is, with powder foundations, I typically like to go all over my face, including my under eyes, so I can't have something that's uber drying. It has to be a good powder foundation that sets but is also kind of hydrating. That's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm looking for a powder foundation, because I don't love putting 2 different powders on my face. I'm lazy, or I just don't want to. One of the two, I don't know. I think this one is a really good one. Even though it looks dark, I don't think it comes out too dark on me. I think if you're gonna set like your whole face, it's fine. Even under my under eyes, I don't think it offers so much freaking coverage and turns out so dark. Because it's kind of a neutral shade, it actually works really well. I am thoroughly enjoying this because it's smooth, it's not drying, and I think that it makes my skin look nice and airbrushed, and it has decent lasting power. So I actually ended up really loving this, more than I thought, for just, you know, something silly I wanted to try. All right, here's for the 2 new releases. I picked up the new pressed powder from Givenchy. This is the Prism Libre 4-color pressed powder. This one is in 02 Satin Blanc, which I think I also have in the loose powder. This one comes with a nice fluffy brush on the inside that I will never ever use. This powder is both good and bad. I think it's a beautiful powder. It's nice and soft, it's nice and airbrushing. I don't think it offers any additional coverage. I just think it sets really nicely. I do like that it's smoothing. I like that it has decent lasting power, but the fragrance is so freaking powerful, and it's floral, which I don't like, and it's the kind that kind of gives me a headache. I feel like it dissipates pretty quickly when it gets to the face, but you know, when I first open it, I kind of get that like, that sensation like right here between my eyes that makes me go, oh shit, that's too strong. So I wish it wasn't fragrant, like the next one that I'm about to talk about that has no fragrance. That's also a luxury powder. So this is actually really nice, pretty thin, not drying, lasts a good amount of time. Oh, it's already giving me a headache, you guys, right between my eyes. Shit. But I just wish it wasn't fragrance. That is the only thing. Now this one, they did a tremendous job. It's the loose powder from YSL. It's called the All Hours Hyper Blur. This one is in translucent, so it's super duper white, but it doesn't come out chalky, cakey, drying on the face. It's again another powder that just doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of coverage to it. So it's just setting and blurring without giving you the added coverage. So it doesn't look white at all. It's not like giving me a white cast or anything. This one is fragrance free. I love it. I love this freaking powder. I love the packaging. It's so beautiful. The inside little puffy is the freaking softest thing I've ever felt ever. I think it's actually quite useful. I do use it when I apply this powder, where usually I'm chucking those things because they're, you know, they're not very good quality. They're not super soft and I don't find them immensely useful. So I don't want to say I'm obsessed with this powder, but I definitely am thoroughly enjoying it. And I love the fact that it gives me all of those things, makes me blurred and smooth and all that, and it does not have fragrance. Huge win. All right, let's go over the one new release bronzer from Laura Mercier that I picked up. This is called the Bronze Color Infusion in 20 Marciel. I don't know. It's in the shade 20. I like that this is two-toned and you get a fairly neutral bronzer side, which is called Sculpt, and then one that's warmer that is Glow. So it has shimmer to it. Not glitter, but it's definitely shimmery. I think that this could tend, depending upon the color that you get, come out a little bit too orange. But I think for me, if I swirl both of these together, it's quite beautiful. It's a very smooth powder. I find that it blends really well. I think that it's quite pigmented though. If you don't like something super pigmented, I would say like go in with a light hand and I think you can build it up, but I do find that it's awfully pigmented. The Laura Mercier color infusions I just think are really great. I did look at this in store and I noticed that the deeper shades were a lot warmer than this one, or at least they appeared to me because I was kind of swatching them all. So I would say this is probably the most neutral, and it's not neutral by any means, but it's like the least warm of the shades that I saw. I quite enjoy this. There is nothing wrong that I find with the color infusion powder products from Laura Mercier. All right, are you guys ready for the marathon of blush that I have to talk about? I still go crazy for blush and lip products. I don't know if that's ever gonna change. I mean, probably not. All right, most of these are new releases. The first one it's the Juvia's Place Cream Blush. This one is called Peach Please. Now, do you guys remember the bronzers that came out? I think it was last year that were just like this in this pot and they had shimmer to them. But like, I didn't think it was obvious, you know, based on when they launched. It wasn't like glittery, but they were basically metallic and I didn't like them. These are juicy, but they're not like that. It's a really emollient formula, but it's not like a thick, waxy texture. It's a lot thinner. I like the pigmentation. I think you can build these up. I don't think they're too intense. I think they're pretty long lasting, but here's the one downside to these blush. They never dry down. I was driving home the other day when I had this on and I touched my cheek and it was still juicy. It was still sticky, kind of. So that is a downside to this. I would prefer that it was like juicy and glossy, but not sticky, which I have a ton of those in my collection. So this is maybe not my favorite, but it's not terrible. I mean, I didn't even notice until the end of the day that it was still sticky and tacky on my cheeks. So it kind of goes to show you, like, it's not a nuisance or anything. It's just something that I don't love about it. Otherwise, it's pretty darn good. You know, Juvia's Place is like a mid-range price point for the drugstore at this point, so it's not the cheapest blush. So I wouldn't tell you like run out and get it, but it wasn't bad. All right, I picked up a new shade of the Phytosurgence Skin Spark Cream Blushes, and this one is in Wisp. I want to say this is a new shade extension. It came out several months ago, and this is a cool tone purple, and I love cool tone purples. I just think they look pretty flattering on my skin tone. They don't make a lot of these. Like most companies, I find that they're not like purples that are meant for lighter skin tones. I think they're like purples made for deeper skin tones, or they just end up looking like super pink on the cheeks when they get to my skin tone. So I'm always looking for like that cool tone purple that's just giving me what I want. And I think this does that. And I love these. They're like a thick but emollient texture, and they go on super easily, and they give really good pigment, and they have like a juiciness to them, but they never last on my freaking cheeks. halfway through the day, these are faded and gone. I wish they had a little bit more lasting power. The shade is fabulous. I'm pretty sure the shade came out like 6 months ago. Might not even been that long. And I'm nearly certain this is a shade extension. I could be wrong, but I knew there was a purple shade that got launched and then it sold out. And then I'm pretty sure this is it when it came back in stock. So I could be wrong, but I'm nearly certain. At least that's what I was going for. Just wish they had more longevity, because otherwise they're fabulous. All right, the next one is from Tarte. It's the blush tape. This one is in the satin finish, and this one's in like bright pink. Yes, that's the shade. I know that a lot of people don't necessarily love these puffies, but I don't mind them. I never have. In fact, if they're done well in terms of formulation, it's not like bad to have it on a puffy, so long as the puffy is like decent quality. I enjoy this one. Now this one in the satin finish gives you like a juicy glossy finish, but the ones that they came out with originally were metallic, and I'm kind of like thinking to myself, why did they come out with the metallic version first instead of this one? I don't know, it was just a weird way to launch these. I prefer this one. It's really easy to blend. I think it's quite pigmented, but it does give you that very soft, healthy, natural kind of glossy finish. It blends perfectly. It lasts all day. I find this a really easy formula to work with, and I like the way my cheeks look. All right, here's another new release. This is a shade extension from Polite Society. It's the Polite Pops Powder Blush Stick. This one's in the shade Malibu. Malibu is the only shade extension. They launched one that was supposed to be shimmery. And when it comes to like a bright pink with gold infused shimmery blushes, I'm there. Hello. But this one doesn't really have anything shimmery about it. It doesn't give that sheen. I never notice it. I put it on and I'm like, what? This looks just like the other one that I have that just doesn't have it. So I would say that if you already have one of these in your collection, or you wanted it because it looked shimmery, it's not worth it to go out and spend the money that it cost on this one, because I don't see any additional benefit. It looks like it, you know, when you're looking at the actual product, but then when you get it to your cheeks, I don't notice the difference. And I would say that this one, for whatever reason, is just not as creamy as the other one that I have. Like, this feels like a drier formula and doesn't blend as easily. So Malibu, I could have skipped. All right, let's talk about one that is not a new release. Back to that whole thing that I was saying, like, oh, I go on Ipsy and I go through the sales and buy all the stuff that I've been wanting to try. This is one, not necessarily in this tiny ass little version, but this is the Longwear Skin Brightening Blush from Ciate London, and this one is in the shade Perfect Match. It was $2. I thought it was gonna be bigger, but I guess it makes sense that it's only $2. Do you see this tiny little thing? It's funny. It does have an overspray on it, but it's still very pretty. It's a buildable formula. It does not come out super intense. I feel like you have to like really pack it on actually to get a nice flush of color on the cheeks. I think it still gives a good sheen. I mean, even with the overspray, it's not like sparkly or anything, and I wouldn't say that it's like too intense. I like it. I didn't like it at first though. I will say at first I kind of was like, what the hell? Why did I want to try this for so long? Oh, because it's kind of pretty, like it's in this pretty design or whatever. And I think the overspray initially was a little bit intense, but if you look at it now, like a lot of it has come off and it's a lot nicer and smoother on the cheeks. It's pretty good. It's not overly pigmented and it's not extremely long lasting, but it was $2. I do like it. It's not a standout product though. I do like it. It looks pretty when it's on. It's quite simple, and again, just not too intense. It's kind of one of those you put it on, it's like, that's a nice blush. That's how I feel about it. All right, these are also new releases. I was super excited to try it. From Sephora, the Colorful Blush. These ones are like the glazed finish. That's what they call themselves. I have Morning Blaze, which is a brighter, kind of hot pink shade, hot maybe coral shade, which has like gold inside of it. One that's more peach, that's also has gold in it, and it's in Pink Sunset. So I'm 50-50 on these, because the one that's in Pink Sunset, that's the lighter shade, does not have enough pigment to even show up on me. It's more sheen, more gold, and less base pigment, so it does not come out as a blush on me at all. It just doesn't even show up. So I've been testing it as a highlighter. It's fine as a highlighter. It's just not what I wanted or intended it for. I don't need it as a highlighter. The Morning Blaze shade though is spectacular. It's pigmented. It's not overemphasizing of texture. It's got a good base to it. It gives that really nice gold sheen if you like that sort of thing. I personally love it. It's fairly long lasting. It's easy to blend in. This is a thicker, creamier powder formula. The thing that I do find using the lighter one over a dewier cheek is that it definitely adds more texture if the foundation isn't super smoothing. So that's kind of why I say like I could have done without this as a highlighter. So I will definitely declutter this shade. It's not something I need, but Morning Blaze is really, really good. They have a really limited shade range in these. They're not like super duper inclusive, so there's not a crap ton. I think there's 4 total, if I'm not mistaken. So there's not like a ton for a different range of skin tones, and one peachy shade not even showing up really well on me, who's very fair. Kind of sucks. All right, let's talk about another beautiful new formula. This is from Rare Beauty. These are called the Matte Bouncy Blush. I picked up 2 shades, but I started with 1. So this was not like I bought 2 when I first got them. I started with Hope, which is a little bit of a warmer pink shade, and then I picked up Happy. If you guys remember the Item Beauty cream blushes, which were like super smooth, lightly creamy, but definitely a cream to powder formula that kind of felt like maybe you were touching a powder, that's exactly what these are. They're airbrushing, they're smooth. I'm showing you guys in the cutaway how you can make one much lighter pigment and then you can build up the color if you use a much denser brush. These are fabulous and beautiful and I love them. Again, reason I got 2 shades is because I liked one so much I wanted to go back to get like a cooler pink shade because Hope is just a little bit more warm. I thoroughly enjoy these. I love me a cream to powder formula that looks super airbrushing and smooth and very buildable and long lasting. All right, this I absolutely love. You guys, you've got to hear me out all the way through to the end. The Super Suede Radiant Blush Powder from Ciate, and this one's in the shade Mia. Okay, do you guys remember when the Kosas came out? I don't even remember what they were called, but they were supposed to be like radiant, and I got one shade, and personally that shade was not super radiant for me, so it came out like very matte looking on the cheeks, and it was so marbled that it like looked uneven sometimes when I was applying it, so I wasn't a huge fan. I know a lot of people really liked them, but like that's the experience I got with those. Now this is what I thought the Kosas was gonna be. This has that radiant finish, but it doesn't emphasize texture. It's very buildable. It's a decently lasting formula. The packaging is super duper duper cheap, but I don't care. I like packaging, like don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like the formula is just so much better. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I think it's nice and buildable, but I think it offers decent pigment. It goes on evenly, like everything I'd want in something that's like radiant and softer and blurring. I really do think this is a very blurring formula, so I thoroughly enjoy that. Again, I personally like that formulation way more than the Kosas because it just applies evenly and it has that extra radiance that it like says that it claims, and I actually see it when I apply it. All right, one highlighter. This one is from Benefit and not a new release. It's in the shade Tickle. I was in Ulta. If you guys watched me try this on, the guy was like, oh, hey, now that you're over here by Benefit, because I was looking at the new cream bronzer, he's like, I have this highlighter that you'll love. And I'm like, you don't even know me, guy. But I do absolutely love it. It's like pink with gold in it, which I love. I love that in a blush. I love that in a highlighter. I don't want to say I'm obsessed, but I'm definitely drawn to it for some strange reason. If it's like goldy, like a peachy gold, I really enjoy it. You know, these are really smooth formulas and they're super intense. It's just a shade thing for me that it's like my kind of preference. So if you guys like that, I like gold in peach or gold in pink highlighter and blush, like this is definitely a shade that I would recommend for you. All right, let's move on to the numerous lip products that I have, and I want to talk about my lip liners that I got first. So I told you guys I went to Beauty Bay to re-up on my mascara, and I felt bad just like checking out with 2 mascaras. I know that seems silly, but you know, if you get over a certain amount, then I think I got free shipping. I can't remember. That's usually what happened. But I saw these lip liners and they were called the nude lip liners and they come in a pack of 4. And I was like, okay, let me give them a shot. I want you guys to know, I struggle with finding nude lip liners. Everyone else can find the really good, really flattering nude shades that suit their skin tone when they're purchasing lip liners. I struggle so much. I can never find anything nude. So all of my lip liners are either pink, My Lips But Better, or they're like a deep berry color. I don't find that I shop well for nude. When I got these, I was like, okay, that's fine. There's 4 shades here. They're a sharpenable kind. These are probably my favorite lip liners now. that's where we're going with this. So I'm trying all of these shades on for you guys so that you can see, and I'll also throw up the names of each of them. I just think that for someone of a lighter complexion, this is a really good nude lineup. There's a cooler brown that's lighter, there's a warmer brown that's lighter, there's one that's maybe a little bit mauve-y, and then there's like a deep brown shade. I think all of these, depending upon what lip product I pair with them, they all look flattering and they work for me. I think it's a creamy formula, but it's also a really long-lasting formula. You know, when you're working with these pencils, I think it's like tricky because I find a lot of formulas too creamy when they're like trying too hard in these pencils and then they don't stay. I just think this formula was really good, and I've never found a nude combination that I've loved quite as much as these. Beauty Bay, I think, is super underrated. I think a lot of their stuff is really good. My favorite mascara comes from Beauty Bay. Like, not enough people in the US, I feel like, talk about Beauty Bay. That's just my personal opinion. Same thing with their shadows too, by the way. All right, this is another new release. This is the 8-Hour Colorful Transfer Proof Lip Liner from Sephora. I think this was a reformulation, you guys. They like had these or some version of lip liner, but they got rid of a bunch of shades. So a lot of people, I think, were mad about that. But then they also brought in like a bunch of colors that they didn't have. This one is in the shade 20, Berry Bang. These are interesting. You do have to sharpen these. They don't twist up. And I don't love sharpening plastic, but it's fine. This is really creamy. It's really pigmented, but it locks down almost immediately. So it's not like a lip liner that you can kind of like smudge the edges out very well. It's like once it's there, it's there. It's like not moving. I don't know that I love this shade is part of the problem because it's so deep that like the stuff that I've paired with it maybe wasn't the most flattering. So I'm not convinced I love this. It has tended to last longer than the lip product that I have, and I kind of want them to fade at the same time. So yeah, I'm not convinced I absolutely love this. It's better than their super duper creamy lip liners, I think, in terms of like longevity. Like those other lip liners you can almost just smudge out and wear as lipstick. They're not gonna last super long like once you put a lip product on, so I think they're better for that. I think that if you wore this by itself, you probably could get like a full 8 hours out of it. Yeah, not convinced I absolutely love these. I know they took shades away that some people said that they absolutely loved. These are pretty affordable, but I wouldn't run out and get them. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it. I would say the same thing about this freaking thing. This is from Refi. It's the Lip Sculpt Crayon, and this one is in the shade Fawn. So this was like a reformulation or a repackaging. So the original ones actually had like the brush tip on the bottom where you could kind of like put a clear gloss, and that was what was down here that made the lip liner lock in place. But this one doesn't have that. And don't try to take it off. I promise you, they've removed it. I have tried to pull this packaging apart and I accidentally broke it. Let's move on from that. I think the lip liner is fine. It's just an awful lot of packaging for a product that I feel like if they were gonna redo this packaging, why even keep it in this component like this? You could have just put it in a smaller component if the idea was to take away the clear gel or the clear gloss to go over it to lock down the lip liner. So I don't know why it's still here. And I find that this is like just awfully bulky, and the formula is decent. It is not bad. It's creamy and it's pretty long lasting, but I mean, I have that from the drugstore too, so I feel like I overpaid for how I feel about this, and the packaging to me doesn't add anything extra. All right, I have 7 different lip products, like lip products. A lot of these are new releases. So this one from Bosma is a new release. It is called, if I can read this writing, you guys, because I can't even remember. It's like their liquid lip, essentially, is what this is. This one is in the shade Mauve. This is a nice formula, but it's really super duper pigmented. You guys will see, I like to use like one dip of this brush, this doe foot, and put it on my lips and spread it around, because anything more than that, it's super thick. I will say, for my lips, this mauve shade comes out like warm, warm, warm. One of the warmest, in quote, end quote, mauve that I've really ever tried. I like this formula though, because it can be quite long lasting, but it's not sticky. It's a thicker liquid balm. I mean, I like it. I don't love this shade. I would love to get this formula in a different shade, quite honestly. The packaging is hefty. I like that. I like the way that this feels on the lips because I like that it's nice and shiny and thick. All good things. It's a really thick liquid balm formula, like the most thick liquid balm formula I've ever tried. I've tried the ones from like Rituel de Fille. They were not as thick as this. I've tried a couple of other ones that were just a lot thinner. So this is awfully thick and super intensely opaque. I love an opaque balm or an opaque gloss, so that's my personal preference, so that's why I like it. If you don't, you like something a little bit more sheer and less pigmented, then I wouldn't recommend this for you. All right, these are also fabulous. This is the Halo Plump Glow Glass Gloss from Smashbox in the shade Aura. This is the brightest shade that they do have. This I really enjoy because it has hyaluronic acid in it, and it's a very plumping, line smoothing formula. Now, even though it calls itself plumping, it's plumping in that it has hyaluronic acid. There's nothing tingly, minty, hot about this particular formula, which I absolutely love. I love this freaking shade. I think my lips look juicy and smooth when I put this on. It's not the most long lasting, but I don't personally mind. It's just a texture thing that I really enjoy. It's a shade thing I really enjoy. It's like a super glossy finish that I really enjoy. Overall, I just kept reaching for this. I really enjoyed this. It's probably one of my favorite lip products from these 7. Also this one, but I don't think they're made equally. So Fenty Beauty came out with the oil, and these are the luminizing lip oil and gloss. Sorry. So I think there were like 5 or 6 shades, and they all had shimmer to them. Now this one right here, this is absolutely fabulous in the shade Raspberry Jams. It is really pigmented and high shine and does have quite a bit of like glitter in it. It's pretty opaque. I love how freaking shiny this thing is. I love the sparkles. You can't feel them though at all. They're so freaking small. But if you guys get super close, you can see the sparkles inside of the gloss. I like that these smell like freaking chocolate. They're pretty thick, but they're not sticky, not like the Gloss Bomb. They're thinner than that. I love the freaking doe foot on these guys. They're like flat, but they pick up a shit ton of product when you pull them out. Like overall, I'm a huge fan. So I started with one shade, and then I went back in with Rose Amber. I don't like Rose Amber, not even a little bit. I don't think it looks good on me. I'm not sure what I was thinking. I must have liked the swatch when I got it in store, or this was the only shade that was left, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna get it because I love the formula so much. It's really cool tone. The problem is I don't think it's opaque enough, or even as much as the other shade, and so it comes out quite sheer but uneven on my lips, and it's just not a flattering shade overall. Formula is fabulous on these. I would say though, like the color starts to fade, you know, as you start talking. So like a half an hour in, it's definitely a lot lighter than it started out to be. The shine kind of dissipates, but I do overall really enjoy these. I'm enjoying the other like shimmer gloss sticks a lot more because I think they have longer lasting power and the pigment doesn't kind of like dissipate as quickly. But guys, if it came down to it and there was like another shade that I ended up liking, I would get another shade and then declutter this one, like give it to my sister or something. All right, this is not a new release, but it is a brand that I wanted to try for 2025 really. This is from Dibs. This is called the Jam Jam Lip Plumping Lipstick Melt, and this one's in the shade Jam Sesh. Kind of comes in like a teardrop shape. This is a really, really soft formula. Very, very soft. Very creamy, pretty high shine. Burns the shit out of you, okay? It's plumping, and it actually does plump. I don't leave it on long enough in the cutaway to show you guys that it does plump your lips, but it does. I'm not into like a super hot plumping. I should read the ingredients when I buy these things when they say plumping, but I bought this so fast I didn't even realize it was plumping until I put it on because I'm a dummy. That's fine, Carrie, you're a dummy. But they just came out with a shade extension in these just very, very recently. So there must have been like some decent success with them for them to have launched a new shade. I like the formulation. Again, it's super smooth and juicy, but not sticky. It's just that it's hot as hell. Same thing with this. The YSL Love Shine Plumping Lip Oil Gloss. This one's in the shade 01. Is this not the prettiest thing ever? It's like purple sparkles. The packaging is really pretty, but this burns the shit out of me immediately. It actually kind of sucks the moisture right out of my lips. So I have to have like pretty hydrated lips in order to wear this. It's a gorgeous cool tone purple with sparkles. Like so freaking pretty, but it burns. I wish they would have done a shade like this in a lip oil or a lip gloss oil, whatever they're calling this, like hybrid, that it wasn't plumping. That's what I hope that they end up doing, because this is just absolutely stunning for YSL. I love YSL lip products, quite honestly. Oh, it smells delicious. It has that YSL lip smell, but it hurts, and I don't like when it hurts. All right, this I think is a pretty new release, at least in this packaging. The Laneige Glaze Craze Tinted Lip Serum. This one is in maple glaze. I love maple, and they actually got it right. There have been so many others that have called themselves like donut or vanilla, but I'm like, no, it's maple. You guys, they smell like maple donuts. This one's actually maple. But this one was the like donut shaped top. This is my favorite lip balm applicator ever. I did like a lip balm try on. I was doing like a comparison. I was like rushing through that video. It wasn't great, but one of you commented and said, how does it compare to the Laneige donut shaped applicator? And I was like, oh, I have no idea. I've never tried it. But this thing is juicy and squishy, and it is so freaking soft on the lips. Yeah, my favorite, immediately my favorite applicator. If I could let you guys touch this through the screen, I would. Not that I want you touching my lip products, but you know, it's just so freaking soft and like bouncy. I don't know what to compare it to or use as an analogy for what it is. I have no idea. Anyway, I love the applicator. The fact that it comes out of like the middle. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. This is my new favorite lip balm. I love that it's maple. I love it. I love it. I wouldn't mind if they did like a pink shade and a maple flavor. That would be nice for me personally. But this applicator is special, so enjoyable. It just feels like cush on the lips. All right, this last one here is not a new release. This is from Pound Cake, but I wanted this when it came out like last year maybe. This is their Cake Theory Lip Tone Equalizing Oil and Melted Butter. I have talked about Pound Cake on my channel before, and I have tried their liquid lip. It's like all in shades of red that are supposed to suit a ton of different skin tones. So like depending upon the undertone of the red that you get, it's supposed to suit, you know, like lighter skin tones, and then it goes down the range. And I thought that that was a really cool idea because so many reds could look different on so many different skin tones and undertones. And so I thought, okay, the lip tone equalizing oil, let me get this shade. They also have one that is for a deeper skin tone. It's brown. And I thought that this would be like, I don't know what it'll do necessarily, but maybe even out my lip tone. But I don't think it does anything. It looks yellow when I swatch it. It looks kind of honey and yellow on my lips. But aside from that, like, I don't know what it's doing. Is it equalizing them? Like, are they more even? It's a very traditional lip oil formula. It's very thin, doesn't have really good lasting power. It's not sticky or anything, but it's kind of thick. So there's like a lot that's going on with it, but it doesn't last very long. I don't know that it does anything. It's not bad, it's just not a standout, which I was hoping it was a standout, you know, because of how it's marketed and what it does. But I would pass on that. It's not something that has made an impression in my collection. And that was all 33 products, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I hope that you found it helpful. I'm going to be linking everything in the description box, so if you're interested in picking up anything and you click one of my links, most of them are going to be affiliated, so it does help my channel. I do appreciate it. But I will also be including shades of everything that I tried on today in case you guys like wanted to reference back to that. If you guys aren't currently subscribed, I would love to see you subscribe, you guys. I'm out of here, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye guys.